A very lovely afternoon to you. You're welcome to Nationwide on NTA. I'm Ogochkuka Ona. We begin with the president who has arrived Lagos this Friday afternoon ahead of Eid-el-Kabir. The president is to observe Eid-el-Kabir in Lagos, where he will also spend the Salah holidays. An earlier statement by the presidential advisor on media and publicity, Ajurin Gelali, states that the president will mark the occasion in prayers and reflection on advancing the transformation of Nigeria in line with his renewed hope agenda. It is a spectacular show of joy and submission to the commandments of Allah as the 2024 pilgrims in Saudi Arabia commence the observance of the Hajj rites proper with their movements to the holy site of Muna. Correspondent Jamilu Ibrahim, who is among the Nigerian contingent, gives us an update from Makkah.
These are some of the Nigerian pilgrims being transported to the Valley of Muna, preparatory to the Arafa day scheduled for this Saturday. The transportation exercise, which commenced midnight, is going on smoothly as some of the pilgrims have already arrived there. The issue of Nusuk card introduced this year by the Saudi authority obviously matters most here, as no pilgrim will be allowed to enter the bus without presenting his or her Nusuk card. And it is important to note that some of the pilgrims are yet to get this Nusuk card, though the issuance of the Nusuk card continues up to this moment at the NACON's office here in Makkah. And the NACON's officials maintain that none of the Nigerian pilgrims with valid visa will be left behind in this all-important exercise.
Coming to this Hajj is very, very miraculous because it remains 13 days to come to Hajj that I got the slot that I should perform this year pilgrimage.
I'm just feeling good because this is my first time to do this.
I personally have been craving for this for so many years, and Alhamdulillah, this year my dream come true. I'm going to pray for my country, most especially my present president of the country, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that may Almighty Allah continue to strengthen and give him more wisdom and understanding to move the country forward.
I'm so excited to be among the people that will perform this religious activity, which is among the 5 pillars of Islam. Alhamdulillah.
Well, the transportation exercise continues until all the pilgrims are moved to the Muna Valley, where they will spend the night preparatory to the Arafat day scheduled for this Saturday. From the holy city of Makkah and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
And as the day of Arafa draws nearer, Saudi Arabia has launched an initiative to use flexible rubber asphalt in pedestrian walkways in holy sites for this year's Hajj. Saudi authorities took visiting journalists on a tour of Arafa ahead of the climax of this year's Hajj. Tokbe Alabi reports.
The day of Arafa, Yawmul Arafa, also called the day of the standing, Yawmul Waqf, is significant because it is the holiest day of the Islamic Hijri lunar year. This year, about 2 million pilgrims will converge on Arafah, and the elderly, who make up 53% of all pilgrims, will have a sigh of relief. Saudi Arabia came up with this technology made from recycled rubber from tires in asphalt mixtures to reduce pressure on the ankles and feet.
70-61, so it's 10 degrees less. Old age people, as they walk, they have back pain and they have knee pain. So we wanted to come up with a with something to make it easy for them to walk. So this area, about 700,000 pilgrims go back and forth on this area. So the sensors allows us to see this year how much strain from the 700,000 is going to impact. Maybe next year we have to make it thicker.
Meanwhile, all tents at Arafah have been erected for pilgrims who will be coming from Mina for the Hajj climax as journalists inspect what has been put in place ahead of the important religious rite. The day of Arafah is just few hours away, and Saudi authorities are already ensuring that every pilgrim is able to perform the Arafah with ease. From the Arafah ground in Saudi Arabia, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
And similarly, in preparation for Eid-el-Kabir celebrations, it is observed that attention goes to the purchase of rams, which is significant for Muslims to fulfill their Islamic rites for the Eid celebration. Subsequently, or consequently, prospective buyers perceive ram markets, which is constant with periods like this. High cost may, however, come between people and their desires. Garba Nata'ala reports.
It is an obligation for Muslims to offer sacrificial animal during Eid-el-Kabir celebration, and that is the reason why
I am here at Zongo Market at Apu Runabout, Abuja, to explore and see the possibility of buying a ram.
it is in periods like this that the symbolic slaughtering of sacrificial animals is at its peak and the demand for livestock is high. For instance, the one that goes with a cow is expecting to feed a larger congregation, but a ram is sufficient for a family to fulfill their obligation. Perhaps other ram markets may experience an influx of buyers, but here, buyers on ground spoke off camera. However, Abdulkadir Abdullahi bare his mind on what he found out about people's purchasing power.
Some come here and have to leave because of the high prices and so on. But at the end of the day, they might not have the option but to come and buy. But then you might be buying what you do not like or what you do not have planned for. The hike is just very high.
List price ranges from 180 to 300.
Before, for the past years, like serious, by now you'll be seeing some space where some ram will not be there and the cows will be going.
The prices to high cost of transportation fares brought from all the northern states. Be it as it is, we sought to know more, particularly on those made compulsory to fulfill these symbolic Islamic rites.
If you have the money, it is recommendable for you to do it. But if you don't have anything to do, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it on the Prophet that he slaughter it for you and me if we are not doing.
Last 10 days of the month of Zul-Hijjah is known with the slaughtering of sacrificial animals, as exemplified by Prophet Ibrahim when Allah enjoined him to sacrifice his son Ismail, an injunction which teaches humility, obedience and total submission to the will of Allah. In Abuja, Garb Muhammad Nata'ala, NTA News.
As celebration of Eid-el-Kabir draws nearer, Osogbo, the Osun State capital, is already experiencing influx of travelers. Kayode Oladoshu visited some markets in the metropolis and brought back this situation report.
Eid-el-Kabir, or the Feast of Sacrifice, is a significant holiday celebrated by Muslims to commemorate Prophet Ibrahim's devotion to God. It is observed on the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah, the 12th month of the Islamic calendar, and one of the central rituals on Eid-el-Kabir is the act of sacrificing a ram, sheep, goat, or cow. Few days to the celebration of this year's Eid-el-Kabir, a visit to some ram markets in Osogbo shows low patronage as people expressed concern over hike in ram prices ahead of the celebration.
Last year, so I get but this year now, the money within my pocket now, I can buy Misoro.
My pocket worth the value and it did not worth the value, both of them. But the market was okay, sha.
There were big size, there were medium size, and there were small size. So it depends on what you choose.
Then the price?
The price you can see 180, 150, 200.
Shoppers were not left out at various markets in the metropolis in their quest to purchase consumables associated with the festival.
That about 3 months ago, I was here pricing the, what do you call this, yam flour. It was double now.
As vehicular movement is now increasing inward and outward of the city, the Osun State Police Command says it has put mechanism in place to ensure a smooth Salah celebration in the state. In Osogbo, Kade Oladoshu, NTA News.
All right, we'll now be joining Kayode Ladoshu live for more on that situation report ahead of Eid-el-Kabir celebration. Hello, Kayode. What more can you tell us on the preparation? We saw that there is enough security, and of course, people are purchasing ram, and of course, celebrants are already arriving the state.
In the last 3 days, Osogbo, the Osun State capital, has witnessed influx of human and vehicular movement ahead of Eid-el-Kabir celebration. The traffic is now heavy here in Osogbo. And then the Osun State government, like it usually do during any festive period, has announced that there will be free train ride for all citizens of the state residing in Lagos, Ogun, and Oyo states, who are willing to celebrate the forthcoming Eid-el-Kabir in Osun State. By tomorrow, the free train will depart Ido terminus in Lagos. We stop over at designated train stations in Ogun and Oyo State to pick passengers, and is expected to arrive at the Osogbo terminus by 6 p.m. While the return trip from Osogbo Railway terminus to Lagos will be on Wednesday, 19th June by 12 noon. Also, in the course of this update, I had interactions with some ram sellers. You know, slaughtering of ram is one of the significance of Eid-el-Kabir. It was revealed that the cost of transporting rams from the northern part of the country has increased beyond normal. They stated that the cost of loading trailer, which has, before it was between 700,000 to 900,000 naira as of last year, are now increased between 1.5 million to 1.7 million. And they have no other option than to increase the prices of ram, as high cost of transportation as choking what's supposed to be their profit. So as it is now, you know, all Muslim women in the state, they are anticipating for 2024 Eid-el-Kabir celebration. It also behoves on all and sundry to celebrate the festival according to Islamic injunction.
The state government gave a free ride, train ride to the residents. How much was it?
The train is free. The free ride is, there's no cost for all the passengers from Lagos, Oyo, and Ogun State. It is free. And then concerning the prices of ram, is between 180, 250, even up to 1 million naira.
Thank you very much, Kayode. I wanted to know how much the train ride costs earlier, so that we can appreciate the state government more for allowing celebrants save some cash. All right, thank you very much for joining us. The Senate Joint Committee on Gas has resolved to formally communicate the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas NLNG seeking information on the Train 7 project awarded at a contract sum of $4.3 billion. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that at an investigative hearing, the lawmakers expressed disappointment over lack of clear information from those involved in the project.
Contracts for the NLNG Train 7 project, which consists engineering, procurement and construction, was awarded in May 2020 at the sum of $4.3 billion. 4 years on, the contract witnessed several variations, thereby jacking up the original contract sum from $4.3 to $4.4 billion. This, among other concerns, is the subject of the investigative hearing.
This committee will want to know the difference between variations and claims. From what you have written here, original contractor claim request is $922 million. An original company offer was $83 million. What is the status of that negotiation between LNG and the consortium, please?
You mentioned here, reading from your report on page 2, that you presently have about 10,000 persons working. 9,000 of them Nigerians and 1,000 foreigners. And these figures actually contradict the submissions you made to my committee just 2 days ago.
We may have to have some audit to know all these details. So this information on the nitty-gritty of the variations is important, because the main problem, the main question here is the variations.
Most of these variations, whether they're technical or otherwise, most of the variations have come from regulatory changes and what have you.
Not satisfied with the explanation, the Joint Committee asked NLNG and the contractors to stop further variations on the contracts. Meanwhile, stakeholders have expressed reservations on the proposed amendments to the ICANN Act, saying it may give it undue advantage over several other related professional bodies during a public hearing convened by the Senate Committee on Establishments and Public Service.
In this amendment bill, sir, accounting has been redefined. It's misconstrued to go beyond the meaning of accounting.
What leaves much to be desired is the attempt that we found in a couple of provisions through the bill to sort of usurp and occupy the core practice areas of other professional bodies.
The provision is to allow tax accountant to practice to be tax practitioner without CITN certification. Our commentary: this automatic qualification undermines the distinct and specialized nature of tax practice. The amendment we are sorting, if in any way contradicts any other profession that are here, I just want us to look at it from the angle that for us to perform better, for us to render good services to our clients, there is need for us to be up to date.
All your submissions and presentations, no matter how small, will be thoroughly and meticulously considered and analyzed by the committee to enable the committee arrive at an informed decision.
The committee assured participants that submissions will be considered on merits. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And now talking health matters now. Blood is described as a living substance to a very core of life. Unfortunately, the support for blood donation seems lacking, and medical experts are worried by the development. They are calling the younger generation to support nationally coordinated and sustainable blood program to meet the needs of patients who require blood transfusion. This came to the fore as the world marks Blood Donor Day. Ibrahim Belogunda reports.
Without blood, life is non-existent. So, when a shortage of it becomes unavoidable, blood donation becomes necessary, and it plays a vital role in restoring the health of the recipient or patient. Healthcare practitioners highlight the benefits patients that face life-threatening conditions gain with blood transfusion. They emphasize the significance and need for voluntary, unpaid, safe, and sufficient blood supply.
Currently, we are working together with National Emergency Medical Services, NEMSAS, as well as the Primary Healthcare Development Agency, to ensure that we have enough blood in response to most of these emergencies.
The essence of this is encapsulated in the World Blood Donor Day, celebrated on 14th of June every year. It is to raise awareness for safe blood and to thank voluntary, unpaid blood donors for their life-saving gifts.
I have actually donated blood like 28 times. When you donate this blood, you're saving somebody's life. My motivation is giving back to society.
I'm standing here today is because I am a recipient of the good venture of kind-hearted people who have donated blood. I've received blood for I've received up to 8 pints.
This year's theme is 20 years of celebrating giving. Thank you, donors, selected to commemorate profound impact of blood donations. In Abuja, Ibrahim Belogunda, NTA News.
And similarly, 2 decades and still counting, the World Health Organization has been accelerating actions to ensure a future where safe blood is universally accessible. Elizabeth Omori reports that the theme of this year's celebration focuses on appreciating donors who risk it all to save lives when blood is needed.
Something I do, a lot of help
humanitarian activity to put smile on people's faces.
It helps you to keep strong and going, and it affords you regular health check.
Coordinating Minister of Health represented at events and other key actors in the health sector says millions of units of blood are needed annually to reduce maternal mortality, cancer burden and save more lives during accidents.
Framework to promote unity, uniform implementation of standards and consistency in the quality and safety of blood and blood products.
What we advocate for is voluntary, non-remunerated blood donation.
Recent data indicate that more people are dying currently from lack of access to safe blood and blood products. And the act of voluntary blood donation is the most precious gift that everyone can give.
They urge Nigerians to see blood donation as a civic responsibility while serving humanity. And now in the studio is Dr. Saleh Yuguda. He's the Director General, National Blood Service Commission, to speak more on the World Blood Donor Day. You're welcome to NTA Network, Nationwide, sir.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have me here. So every year we celebrate World Blood Donor Day. Every year on the 14th of June, the World Health Organization assigned that day to celebrate World Blood Donor Day. This year marks the 20th anniversary of our World Blood Donor Day celebrations. And the whole essence of the day is to thank all those that have been donating blood regularly without receiving any incentive from the blood establishment. So the essence is to thank them and also encourage other people to come out and donate blood voluntarily. Studies have shown that there is a wide gap between our demand and supply, more especially for us in the developing countries. And we also know that blood is one of the very essential commodity which you cannot go to any market to buy, or and also it cannot be synthesized anywhere in the lab. So the only way we can get blood is by donating blood freely. And also we have realized that those that usually come out to donate blood voluntarily, they are the safest of all blood donors. Mostly we have other types of blood donors like the commercial donors and the family replacement donor, but we try as much as possible to discourage those kind of individuals from donating blood and also trying to convert them to be voluntary donors so that they will now come back and be donating blood regularly. There is
Doctor there. So year in, year out, we celebrate the World Blood Donor Day. Is the desired result being achieved? I mean, every year we celebrate the World Blood Donor Day. Are we having results?
Yes, we are definitely having results because so many people are now coming out to donate blood. And like I said earlier, the essence is to encourage people and to engage the community leaders as well as religious leaders in educating the populace on the need to give out that blood voluntarily. So there is, like this year now, we have massive turnout when we compare to previously. So there is also there is gain to what we are doing. We are trying, so even though the movement is very slow, but we are still moving toward the right direction.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saleh Yuguda, the Director General, National Blood Service Commission. Thank you for your time.
It's a pleasure.
All right, you're still watching Nationwide. We'll now take a break. The news continues in a moment. Thank you for staying tuned. Before we went on that break, we were talking health, and now our attention is being shifted to the environment. The floods that ravaged Trademore Estates, Lugbe, Abuja in 2023 is one that would not be forgotten in a hurry, as the relics have left its lessons, including the need to be proactive. Our correspondent, Abdullahi Ajia, recently visited the area for a situation report.
Phase 2 in Lugbe rainy season experience has been a harrowing one.
Over the years, there have been an unfortunate incidences of flood that have ravaged properties and affecting lives and livelihood of the residents. Now, we're here for an update to ascertain the level of commitment in terms of mitigative and preventive measures as to what has been put on ground to prevent what had happened in the past years. Residents and indeed businesses have suffered losses in the past, and through a concerted effort, residents have provided what they say are parts of the solutions to the recurring flood to the area. This hill is part of what has been put in place to prevent the flood water from having access to the respective houses here, especially those ones that have been earmarked as sitting on the flood-prone area.
All the waterways are cleared. All our drainage paths are cleared. And we have done an extensive work in conjunction with the developer. The developer has also been of tremendous help. He has assisted us in major projects. The one just behind us was done solely by him. Most of the drainage path around Trademore and its environs, we've actually evacuated them. We've expanded the size of the drainage path.
We carried out a comprehensive assessment, and we discovered that there are some estates at the back of Trademore that are also sitting on waterways. Some have encroached into a river and diverted the waterway to another direction. And that has contributed to the blockage of the waterway into Trademore. That has since been demolished.
Despite a series of multi-stakeholder engagements, experts say there are still palpable concerns on the probability of flood occurrence in the area. Abdullah Hajj, NTA News.
Abdullah Ajia was there recently, but right now he's back there and is there to give us live situation reports on 1 year after the incident. What measures have been put in place? Hello, Ajia. Can you tell us what is on ground now? All right, sorry, we may come back to Abdullah Ajia in the course of the bulletin. We seem to be having a little bit of challenge connecting him. Now, we continue with the news. The ECOWAS Commission has presented checks of $906,205 to affected population of 2022 flood disaster in the Northeast region. The project, which is targeted at providing food, nutrition and livelihoods assistance to vulnerable persons, funded by ECOWAS Commission, will be implemented by the Nigerian Red Cross Society and World Food Programme under the supervision of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. Ruth Agwele reports.
A daring monster that yearly rears its head. Flood disasters are inevitable, and Nigeria has consistently contended with this challenge as part of interventions in alleviating the sufferings of the affected population. A joint humanitarian action targeting 3,500 households in Adamawa, Anambra, Kebbi, Kogi, Oyo, and Rivers states is focusing on building stronger and resilient families faced with humanitarian crisis.
It is worthy to note that the outcome will be immediate needs of the target communities are met through the provision of essential household items, including food and non-food items.
By our capable implementing partners evaluated by the Nigerian government in collaboration with the ECOWAS team will enable us to touch the lives of the people identified.
These humanitarian initiatives, as we all know, are driven by the belief that every individual deserves access to basic necessities of life.
It will also include livelihood support, capacity for state systems, and psychosocial support to promote social cohesion and peace.
It is therefore imperative at this juncture that we address these challenges collectively.
The project funded by ECOWAS will be implemented by Red Cross and World Food Programme under the supervision of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. In Abuja, Ruth Aguele, NTA News.
All right, we'll be taking another break. At this point, we'll be right back. We will now return to Trademore Estate Lugbe, ravaged by flood last year, where Abdullahi Ajia is standing by via telephone conversation to tell us what the relevant authorities have put in place to check a reoccurrence of that event. Hello, Ajia. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. If you can also hear me. Yes. Fairly just adhere to the last unfortunate flooding incident that happened here at the Trademore Estate. Yes, but I must also remind our viewers and everyone that the NTA has been on this beyond the last year, and from then it has been report of a report to be able to drop support and advocacy towards finding and bringing the massive solution to the incident that has claimed lives in the past. And from the 2023 incident, it has brought multi-stakeholder engagement from the Ministry of Environment, the FCC Emergency Management Department, the developer, including the residents. They've not left from the last incident, and they've held series of meetings, bringing everyone on board. You have your argument and counter-argument as to what could be the last incident. And I must tell you, from the report you watched earlier, yes, we have been taught on bringing remedial solutions. But one solution that has not been brought with the construction of the residents and other stakeholders is the issue of adjourning who have built on waterways.
All right, we seem to be having a little challenge with audio connecting Abdullahi Ajia there. Our sincere apologies. On our, right now, we'll be linking up with Asmao in our Sokoto Network Center for more reports.
Chukuka, good evening and welcome to Sokoto on Nationwide. Sokoto State Government has reaffirmed its unwavering commitment to tackle head-on security challenges confronting some local government areas by providing the necessary support to security agencies to restore peace in the state. The governor gave the indication while interacting with newsmen at the Government House, Sokoto. Bashir Ibrahim Nababa
Like its
reports.
counterparts in the northwest region, the eastern part of Sokoto State has been under siege by activities of bandits and other criminal elements. This scenario has adversely affected the education sector and socio-economic well-being of the communities that led to the relocation of some boarding secondary schools to the state capital. Governor Ahmed Aliu says the concern for the lives and welfare of people of Sokoto State explains the symbiotic relationship between the government and the security forces in the fight against criminal elements. The state government came up with the idea of establishing Sokoto Community Guard Corps, a special volunteer force drawn from the 13 local government areas mostly ravaged by banditry to support the conventional security operatives in the fight against criminals.
And this government will remain committed to ensure security of lives and the property of citizenry of the state.
On education, Governor Ahmed Aliu discloses that education receives lion's share in the 2024 budget in the drive to reposition the sector.
We have renovated quite a number of schools, and they were provided with furniture. We have achieved so much in the area of education.
Sokoto State Government recently inaugurated multi-million naira developmental projects executed within 1 year of the administration in fulfillment of the governor's campaign promises. From Sokoto, Bashir Ibrahim Nababa, NTA News.
Sokoto State Independent Electoral Commission has fixed the local government elections for September 21st, 2024. Chairman of the electoral body, Alhaji Aliu Suleiman, announced the date during a meeting with chairmen of all political parties in Sokoto State. Alhata Abdullahi reports.
Affairs of local governments are for some times now being overseen by sole administrators in Sokoto State, a situation the state electoral body is trying to amend. The SIEC chairman, Aliyu Suleiman, informed the chairman of the political parties of the commission's decision to conduct the chairman and the councillors' polls across the 23 local government areas by 21st September 2024. This is in line with the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended to organize elections for local government chairmen and councillors. Aliyu urged the registered political parties in the state to commence preparations for the elections, adding that the electoral body will on Friday, 15th June 2024, release elections timetable and schedules of activities.
On our part, that is the Sokoto State Independent Electoral Commission, we intend to ensure a level playing ground for all parties. I therefore urge all parties and their agents to act with decorum, restraint, and respect for law and order at all times.
The meeting featured questions and answer session with stakeholders being more concerned on the conduct of elections in areas with security challenges. The chairman, however, allayed their fear that the electoral body will collaborate with security agencies to ensure hate-free elections. Secretary of the People's Democratic Party in Sokoto State, Zaki Bashiri, and Chairman Inter-Party Advisory Council, Sambo Muhammad, indicate readiness to participate in the elections. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And that's it from here. It's back to Ugochukwu in Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Asmao, thank you so much. Now, the federal government says it is committed to upgrading senior secondary schools across the country. And in realization of this goal, the Executive Secretary, National Senior Secondary Education Commission, Dr. Iyela Ajayi, was on a working visit to Osun State to inspect some secondary schools. Kayode Oladoshu has the details.
The two-day visit afforded the team from National Senior Secondary Education Commission to assess facilities and state of infrastructure in CAC Commercial High School, Ilesha, and Laro Grammar School, Oshogbo. This tour of facilities is to reposition senior secondary education in Nigeria, which had suffered neglect, with the core mandate of the Commission to prescribe national minimum standard for education and intervene in senior secondary schools education. Laro Grammar School, Oshogbo, is now part of the first 50 senior secondary schools across the country to be upgraded by the Commission.
Honestly, we still have a lot to do, especially in the area of the repositioning of senior secondary education in this country.
This intervention was applauded by Osun State government.
Now with government intervention, there's going to be a dramatic change.
The intervention projects, which includes standard laboratory, well-equipped library, and standard senior secondary school classrooms, are expected to be delivered by the Commission in the next 6 months. In Oshogbo, Kayode Oladoshu, NTA News.
Port Harcourt has more reports on Nationwide this afternoon as we join Doris for details. Hello, Doris.
To Port Harcourt. Every year on June 14, World Blood Donor Day is commemorated. The event, established in 2004, is aimed at raising awareness on the need for safe blood, as well as to thank non-remunerated donors for their voluntary life-saving gift to humanity. Chidebere Onya reports that the theme of this year is 20 years of celebrating giving. Thank you, blood donors.
Blood donation is an important aspect of health care. Blood donated or voluntarily collected is used as life-sustaining or life-saving procedure in terms of offering medical intervention when required.
Please give blood, give plasma, share life, share often. Let's work together so that everyone who needs blood or plasma can access it safely when and where they need it.
In Nigeria, voluntary blood donation can be said to have recorded minimal success owing to various factors related to people's attitude or myths surrounding the process.
Like me, I also feel
after donating, how do I regain it back? So those are one of the things.
The first law of motion said when something goes out, it brings room for new ones to come. So I also advise and encourage those who are donors like me to always donate to help and save a life.
When you went to the hospital, you see some people, they really need the blood, but they don't have money to go to blood bank to get the money. But you that have it excess, it's important for you to donate it.
This year's theme commemorates the milestone of the 20th anniversary and profound impact of blood donation on the lives of patients and donors.
Immediately after donation, new blood cells are generated. And usually blood donors will tell you that they feel re-energized, they feel reinvigorated.
Experts reiterate that donating blood to save someone's life is
network seems to be fluctuating from our Port Harcourt Network Center. And now returning here now, African countries with a high rate of female genital mutilation are recommitting to develop national action plans and new policies, including legislation that protect the rights of girls and women. This echoed the UNFPA-UNICEF joint program on the elimination of female genital mutilation as a 3-day technical consultation ends in Abuja, where 21 countries participated. Olusheye Adeagbo reports.
UNICEF 2013 reports about 230 million girls and women globally have undergone some form of female genital mutilation, while Nigeria has the highest burden, with an estimated 19.9 million survivors. Other African countries like Kenya, Sierra Leone, and Benin Republic are reported to be involved in this practice.
We really have like 7 years to end FGM. And Nigeria has made good strides to end it. However, it needs to work 2 times what it's been doing.
Unfortunately, we have made gains in the past and we are about to lose some of them. For example, in the Gambia, and some parliamentarians are in the process of trying to introduce a private bill where FGM will become legal again.
I think you might have already have seen that the Emir of Songa is here, who is representing our royal fathers, who is representing the culture in this country. And he was here to show his commitment to ending this practice.
So the next line of action is to continue advocacy. It's to give a voice to survivors.
Though I don't have the bleeding experience, but I believe the elimination of female genital mutilation should be the call of everyone. And this is my own way of joining the campaign. So I'm saying, don't cut her. She is complete. In Abuja, Olusheye Adeagbo, NTA News.
Let's now connect with Mary in Jos for more reports on Nationwide. Mary, it's over to you. What's trending there?
Hello and welcome to Jos. Chief of Army Staff Lieutenant General Taurid Lagbaja says in a bid to improve the well-being of officers and men of the Nigerian Army, there's need to put in place measures that will address challenges faced by troops through kinetic and non-kinetic strategies. He said this in a message to the sensitization on lessons learned, process and drug abuse management organized by the Department's Army Transformation and Innovation in Jos. Ndayang and Debagyang has details.
The Chief of Army Staff, represented by the General Officer Commanding 3 Division and Commander Operation Safe Haven, Major General Abdusalam Abubakar, says the Nigerian Army will continue to review its tactics, techniques, and procedures in order to come up with both kinetic and non-kinetic strategies to address security challenges in the country. The sensitization has become necessary due to prevailing incidents of drug and substance abuse, as well as post-traumatic stress disorder amongst troops deployed in theater operations. He says this will help improve operational efficiency the Nigerian Army requires to deliver its constitutional responsibilities. The Chief of Army Staff charged commanders at all levels to continue to come up with innovative measures to scale up their approaches towards reducing battle fatigue, improve man management, and battle readiness.
This sensitization program is one of the many measures in place to raise the necessary awareness in troops on the myriads of complex security challenges in Nigeria. The challenges impose enormous responsibility on the Nigerian Army as well as the officers and personnel. This sensitization lecture will expose participants on how to extract, collate, and analyze lessons in order to avoid the mistakes of the past.
In Jos, Indenyan, and the Abuja, NTA News.
The Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology Jos will soon be upgraded to a university status. Chairman House Committee on Specialty Healthcare, Dr. Alex Egbona, said this during an oversight visit to the institution in Jos. Ijoma Ozemena has the details.
At a meeting with management of Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology, the House Committee on Specialty Healthcare notes that, as part of its review mandate, it went through the institution's documents, 2023 annual budgetary provisions, expenditure within the period, staff nominal role, student strength, and capital projects. The committee urges the institution to synergize with other health institutions for utilization of its laboratory and as well improve their internally generated revenue for optimal healthcare delivery. It says that school has one of the best laboratory equipment in the country. As part of its assignment, the committee inspected facilities at the Jos University Teaching Hospital.
Who need more funding? We are told them what to do. What they call, apart from the budget, what they call special intervention. Yes. You can ask for special intervention through us to the speaker and through the ministry too.
Provost of the college, Professor Sunday Etukudo, expresses appreciation to the committee for the visit, promising to improve on its services.
When the citizenry sees where to go and do their diagnostic investigations at a timely and an affordable price, and also the result is also precise and accurate, they will be good for it.
The college was established in 1954 to improve quality healthcare in laboratory technology. In Jos, Ijoma Ozemena, NTA News.
And that's our contribution from Jos. Nationwide continues in our Abuja studio with Ugo Chikuka.
Thank you very much, Mary. But this is where we draw the curtain on the news today. Thank you for watching.